What up, y'all? I'm JT, Chef Tickles, the Alaskan Sniper. I'm here with your boy Chris Easy, Deuces -1, Chris Evans.
What up? What up?
We're joined here with our man, Big Daddy, the boy himself, Faraz Sani.
What it do, baby?
And let's get into it. This is Hoop Session. All right, cool. What's up, boys? Welcome. Welcome,
Uh,
welcome.
What it do?
What it do? Big days for Hoop Session history. We got our first episode uploaded to YouTube. By the time you're hearing this, it'll be past that, but we just kind of got it uploaded onto YouTube. First steps, getting closer to our release date right before the season starts. Obviously, December 1st, tomorrow. We got the Movember rocking still. These guys got off the train real quick. So I'll dive right into it for you two guys, okay? So I'm going to rapid fire go through some topics and kind of see what some headlines over the last weekend and see what you guys feel like talking about. So we had Nate Robinson and Jake Paul squaring off in the ring. I don't know what the fuck was going on with all that promoting, and there was a rumor that the purse was only like $150 for Nate Robinson. Like, he got knocked the fuck out. He went to sleep. Klay Thompson done for the season. He was my pick for first team all defense as I was listening back to our first episode there. So that is completely gone out the window. Torn Achilles, same as KD there. And a big signing that we saw, Boogie to the Rockets, right? He's been another guy that's had that Achilles injury. He's out of that quad injury. He signs with the Rockets. Now all of a sudden the smallest team in the league goes to being really big with Westbrook and Harden as your backcourt and Boogie there. And then some big things coming out from Stephen Curry, coming out with his own brand. That's huge. That's next level shit. That's boss moves for Steph Curry and his whole family there. So who wants to go first? Anybody want to pick something out of that list of topics there?
I want to talk just about Klay being done for the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks, man. 2 seasons, basically, a season and a half that Klay's gone. It's just brutal loss for the Warriors, but I think it's a bigger loss just for NBA fans in general. It sucks like having one of these guys who was very well liked by probably I don't think anybody hates Klay Thompson or like has any disdain towards him. So I'm like, oh, he's done for the season. Like, I was really excited to see his comeback. I was really excited to see him play again, but like now we gotta wait till 2021, end of 2021 at the earliest, sorry. So it's probably gonna be a completely different Klay when he comes back after two major injuries. So I still think the Warriors should have picked up Melo in the draft, but it probably was they probably didn't have enough scouting on him or something like that, just because the fact that they went with Wiseman, they probably was a good decision just because they probably needed that center position locked down. And then when Klay does come back, what are you going to do with Melo? Just trade him? But you can't really do that because he's just a rookie, right? So I think they should have picked up Melo, but it was very smart to pick up Wiseman. But then it sucks, man. It just really sucks. Like, I really want to see him and Steph play together, because Steph by himself is one thing, but Steph with Klay is a whole nother beast. So that's sad days for Klay Thompson, I'd say.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there on a lot of points. You know, in terms of the drafting for Warriors, I think obviously they knew this information before it got released to us, right? Like, there's a point of time between us learning on Instagram and the Warriors finding out. So their draft, their draft strategy, I'm sure, was set a couple days before even. And they're trying to win. They're still trying to be relevant now, right? So they filled the position that they need, and they knew, I guess, they had that trade in the works for Kelly Oubre, and they still got Andrew Wiggins there as well. So, they got some experience, and they're going to try to drive for it. But Faraz, what do you think out of that list of things there?
Yeah, man. I want to talk about the most not talked about move of the offseason, man. I think the Boogie to the Rockets is going to be a pretty big what if scenario there. You're talking about a player who age-wise is in the prime of his prime right now. Injuries slowed him down, obviously. He's had some big setbacks. And he is a big man, and generally they are more injury prone, which is unfortunate. But I feel like people have kind of forgotten about him. But if Boogie can even come back at 80% of what he was, I mean, you're talking about in his prime Sacramento days. I mean, he was a 28 and 12 machine. I'll take 80% of that. At
And
that
you
price
have
tag.
Russ and Harden too.
And you have Russ and Harden. I think I think they'll get along well. They'll need to feed Boogie in the post a little bit more, and I think if they let him work, that frees up a lot of space for Harden as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about, this is kind of just off the cuff, but, Boogie and Westbrook both on the floor together? Honestly, I feel like that kind of clogs it even more for Harden.
You think it could clog it? I think that pick and pop would be nice with those two, man, or that pick and roll with Westbrook and Boogie.
Yeah,
because Boogie back in the day, you couldn't stop him once he got the ball down there, man. Again, I could just see Westbrook getting at least 4 to 5 assists a game with Boogie.
yeah, so true. They're definitely going to dominate physically. I'm just kind of thinking long term in terms into the playoffs, right? Like you could essentially have one guy guarding Westbrook and Boogie on the weak side, and have another guy help side, right? And then as it gets swung, first guy just goes to the ball. But that's down the road. Hopefully he can stay healthy. That's the big thing for Boogie now.
That's the biggest thing, man.
Yeah, exactly. But I think all those guys are kind of come across as being like conflict oriented players or something that people get into fights and stuff like that. But I think they're all just like hoopers. They're just passionate hoopers. They're all down 100%. To win, I think. And I think, they still have PJ Tucker. I think they actually lost quite a bit in the offseason, but it should still be interesting when you got those guys. All right.
For sure. They lost Covington. I believe they lost
they lost Austin Rivers.
Yeah, Austin Rivers as well.
Yeah. They lost somebody else as well, but
they lost Capella mid-season last year.
True. Yeah. But they still have Gordon as well, so that's a nice 5 right there, right?
I think Boogie with his like time with Golden State, I think he's going to become, once he's at full strength, he's going to become like a great player just because he's learned from that championship organization. He's played with Klay, Steph, Draymond, all those guys on the Warriors, and then you put him on a team with Harden and Russ. You're like, okay, like he knows how to play with superstars now, whereas in Sacramento and for the most part, I mean, AD in New Orleans, but in Sacramento, he was always the man, and he sort of was the man in New Orleans too. But now he's learning to play with guards, especially who are better than him. So I think in the Golden State era, that sort of helps him, and like hopefully he'll succeed with the Rockets.
Yeah, great point. And also, not to mention, he borderline just won a championship with the Lakers as well, right? He was there before he got hurt. Yeah. So you're right. He's just been around the winning culture and kind of like, what does the team need to do, right? Not just about Boogie Cousins. So as we jump ahead here, the Christmas Day games got released. Some big news that kind of just dropped. We don't even have the full schedule yet, but the Christmas Day games got released. Full slate of games like we expected, 5 games. We'll probably start, somewhere in the range of like 10:30 a.m. for us here on the West Coast. But we got the Heat Pelicans. We got the Warriors and the Bucks. We got Nets and Boston. We got the champs, Lakers and Mavericks. And we got the Clippers and Nuggets. So Faraz, run us through Heat Pelicans. What do you think is going to go on their first game early on?
So I think to be honest with you, I think that's going to be a high scoring game. I think it's going to be the Pelicans' young core. They're going to be a fun team to watch, man. They've quietly been building a little young base there. That's just going to be. I mean, you got Zion, man. When you have Zion leading the highlight reel every night, I think that's going to be a good matchup to see Bam and Zion, Jimmy and Ingram going at it will be very, very good to watch. Nice, I'd like to see what Lonzo's developed over the offseason because I'm a big disbeliever in the kid, and I'm waiting for him to prove me wrong. With the Heat, you usually think there's going to be a lot of defense played. I think in this game, there's going to be a lot of offense. I think it's going to be a lot of going back and forth. There's going to be a lot of jawing. I think it could end up being a little chippy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that game is quite interesting too, especially because it's only the second game of the season for the teams, right? So the defense, you're starting training camp today, December 1st, but defense is going to be out of the question for that first 10, 15 games, most likely. Either it's going to be a very poorly offensive game, but the defense isn't going to be – I don't think defense is going to be a thing until midseason. Everybody's still feeling each other out. Preseason, probably nobody's really played. But I personally think the Heat got so disrespected to get put in the morning game after being NBA Finals runner-up.
Yeah.
Like, I know the league's really trying to push Zion and like you said, get that Zion money, right? Like that's the big attraction that's the face of the league supposedly. But I think the Heat should definitely have gotten more of a primetime spot on Christmas Day, which is very disrespectful to Jimmy and that crew.
Who would you like to have see match up against? Boston?
I'd like basically the Heat and the Nets to switch places. I'd like to see a Boston Heat because that was the Eastern Conference Finals last year. The Nets, they do have KD, they do have Kyrie, but both those guys haven't played in over in a year or so. So I'll put the Nets up in the first morning game. Yes, you do get that interest in KD and Kyrie playing, but everybody's going to watch their first game anyways whenever December 22nd or 23rd. So, I mean, I personally think it should be Heat later in the more primetime games.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Nets.
I would have liked Heat Bucks rematch.
That would have been nice. Yeah. Yeah, moving on. That's the next game, right? So Bucks Warriors. Obviously, everybody was kind of expecting Warriors to be right back at the top. We just kind of talked about Klay, but Bucks got better, right? You'd hope so, at least. They essentially upgraded Bledsoe for Drew Holiday. So they have two solid guards there that will go up against Steph and, probably Oubre, I guess, technically would be the shooting guard over there. So I think that's going to be a pretty good game, to be honest. I think opposite of what you said about the Heat Pelicans, I think it's going to be a kind of a defensive game. I think the Bucks are going to lock down. Steph is going to be, I think, rusty from not playing for 10 months or so, or however long it's been. And I think, honestly, it's going to be from the day's games. I think that's going to be the dud, unfortunately. I like the Bucks. I like watching the Warriors play. But with no Klay, that's like maybe like a 2 p.m. start here in San Fran. It will probably be. I
think it's the 11:30 game. It's the 11:30 game on the West Coast.
11:30 a.m. West Coast, but they're playing in Milwaukee.
Yeah,
that would make sense. Yeah. So I think that might be the dud of the game. That's when you go walk the dog or something like that. That's when you grab some brunch, right? Open some prezzies, FaceTime with mom or something like that. But you never know. Steph has that ability to go off for 40. Drew Holiday, I can't wait to see him with Giannis. So obviously I'm going to be watching them. But I think the better games are later in the day for sure. Nets Boston. What do you guys think about that? Faraz, Nets, your team, KD.
Oof. That's the game I'm most looking forward to seeing KD play. It's going to be primetime TV. It's going to be going up against a tough team in Boston. And I think if all goes well, I think KD's going to put on a show to remember, man, to kind of show everyone that he's back. Now,
remind the world.
I can see KD. As much as I love you, Chris, I can see KD putting up a 50-piece on Boston.
Hey, man, I see it too, man. Everybody, all eyes are on him Christmas Day, 2 p.m.
All eyes?
All eyes, man.
He's going to say, fuck everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's guarding him for the Celtics there? Who's going to start guarding him? Marcus Smart or Jaylen Brown?
I want to put Jaylen Brown on him.
A little more length,
yeah.
Smart is good, but too small. Unfortunately, he can't do anything. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll try for a bit, but he's too small.
Yeah.
Who else did they pick up as a big there, Chris, in Boston? I forgot.
Big?
Yeah, they picked up a big. They lost Cantor and they picked up someone.
I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But either way, I don't think.
Oh, Tristan Thompson. That's who it was.
Tristan Thompson. That's actually not a bad matchup for KT. Tristan Thompson obviously is a little bit older now, and he's got all the.
I'd love to see Tristan Thompson guard KT.
Oh man.
Oh, Matt, back with Cleveland and Warriors. He did okay. He tried. He was there.
He also had LeBron on his team.
Yeah. KD is just KD, man.
Man, that game, that's Boston game. I'm interested just obviously because I'm a Boston fan, but I lost it. I was robbed of the opportunity for 3 games last season to see Kyrie play Boston. That man ducked
What?
every single game against Boston last season.
Oh, I remember.
Like he never played against Boston at home or away, but he could have played in TD Garden in Boston, but then he decided to take a few more days for his injury to recover from his
Shoulder.
injury.
Bro, he was injured.
So this man literally ducked the entire city of Boston, booing him in person twice. And especially on TV against Brooklyn, in Brooklyn, this guy just literally walked away. He walked
You
away
gotta
from my
stop
team,
that.
and I was robbed of the opportunity to absolutely hate on him. So this game is circled on my calendar. I will be watching this game right in front of the TV, yelling at Kyrie.
Oh shit!
This is
I
this is this
like
is the
it.
game I needed last season as like closure for Kyrie leaving, but I never got it. So all that hatred is
Honestly,
just gonna come back up.
honestly, dude, that's fair. As a diehard Boston fan like you are, man, Kyrie, I like the dude. He's obviously a disgusting hooper, but like even as a dude, like I like him. I think I would like him, but that's true, man. He did it. He ducked it. He easily could have played. Like that's something like LeBron went back to Cleveland right back after, right?
Yeah,
KD played in Oklahoma City. Like he did that shit. Kyrie ducking like that. That's pretty shitty, man. That's
yeah.
pretty shitty, actually. Yeah,
And
I
I
don't
was
like that.
on the Kyrie train, man. You guys know, like I was all
Yeah,
hyped up on Kyrie. Like
yeah.
poor Isaiah Thomas got traded for him, but I got so hyped on Kyrie. I have a Kyrie jersey who I now duct tape the back and put Cantor on the back of number 11. So it's like, come on. Like
Yeah.
it broke
That's
broke the
disrespect.
entire city of Boston's heart, man.
Disrespectful.
Oh, he
Oh
deserves
man.
it.
Bro said he grabbed the microphone and said he wanted his jersey retired there, and then he fucking and then he does
Left.
that. Yeah. Well, well, and also like this is kind of going off on a side, but like in Cleveland too, reportedly he said either trade me or I'm getting knee surgery. So he knows he knows what he's doing over there.
Him and his flat Earth theory.
So the fourth game of the day, Lakers Mavericks. They're putting LeBron against mini LeBron there. That is going to be a fucking unreal game. Luka, I think, is the favorite right now to be MVP. So I think that's going to be great. Hopefully, KP is back and healthy. I'm not too sure about their roster down there in Dallas, but obviously, I'm going to be watching these Laker games with LeBron, dude. Jared Dudley just re-signed. Thank God, 1 year vet minimum. Oh
Oh,
my God, that's
that
the
was the
piece right
piece,
there,
man.
That's the
boys.
piece. That's the piece,
That's the
man. That's the
piece.
glue. What
That's
have
the
I told
Lucas
you guys? That's the
stopper.
glue.
That's
The
NBA
Lucas stopper.
champion Jared Dudley to you.
Yo,
Yes,
yo.
sir.
All fun and games though. Every good team could use a fucking Jared Dudley, man.
100%, bro.
Every good team.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to make
100%.
fun, but yeah.
Dude's in the league for a reason. He's getting paid multiple millions of dollars. Like,
Exactly.
obviously, mad respect, but
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, funny looking jersey. Yeah, going to be a great game. Obviously, that's going to be in LA as the defending champs. I'm hoping that they'll make that ring ceremony night. I don't know if they'll do it on opening night. That might make more sense, but I'm hoping that might be opening ring ceremony night there on Christmas Day. So, Chris, Mavericks, what do you think Luka's going to come out with?
I don't know. I really hope he balls out. I think Luka has that like killer instinct in him now, especially after that playoff run and hitting that crazy shot against the Clippers. I know they didn't win that series, but they did put up a good fight. KP was sort of in and out of that series as well. So I think this season is Dallas' season to make a statement. And I think that statement will be made on Christmas Day. LeBron might not want to play, might play only 15, 20 minutes because fuck, they went to the finals. They are on what, 2 months rest before going back to their season. So I think the Lakers start out real sluggish for the first 10, 12 games of the season. And I can see the Mavs stealing this one right in prime time, in front of everybody, I think. I do think the ring ceremony will happen first game of the season, though. It won't happen on Christmas Day, just because there's too much shit going on for a Christmas Day game.
Yeah, fair.
So you want that ring ceremony to be its own separate hype thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. What do you think LeBron's going to come out with for us?
Sorry?
What do you think LeBron's going to come out with there?
What I think LeBron's going to come out with in that game?
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, that's gonna be a nice game to watch, man. I think LeBron and Luka are gonna have a head-to-head matchup, like worthy of Christmas Day. I think it's gonna be a triple-double for both dudes.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
I think it's one of those games. Yeah.
And then Chris, last game of the day there, Clippers Nuggets. What do you think? What are you looking to expect there from Jamal Murray and Kawhi?
Oof. I think, like, obviously, this revenge game was going to go on this Christmas Day schedule. I mean, Nuggets came back from 3-1 down, but being like a former Hooper and stuff like that, like, I don't think any of the Clippers, other than maybe Pat Bev, give a shit that they lost 3-1. Like, they seem like, okay, they're whatever. Kawhi is more of like a calm, like or what's it called? Even-minded guy. Doesn't really get too high, doesn't really get too low. So I think it's just going to be another game for those guys. But I think the Nuggets really want to put their stamp on that game to show, like, hey, last season wasn't a fluke. We really want to make a statement this season. I think that's the game they're looking forward to the most. Clippers are like, oh, whatever, we're playing Christmas Day, no big deal. The one thing I do like about that is it is in Denver.
Yeah.
So it's not in Clippers. So Clippers do have to travel. So it's like even extra, not stress, but like baggage they're carrying on the road to them, to a place where the team that's waiting for them basically came back and beat them and shocked the whole NBA world, really, and made them a laughing stock of the league for this summer, for the most part. Like, everybody wanted Clips Lakers, right?
Exactly, yeah. And, losing Montrezl Harrell, an energy type guy on the road in Denver, is, we know, a tough place to play. That's going to be a big piece of it. I don't know if they're going to just take it as another game. It might be their chance to be like, hey, this is the time to save face and actually, like, tell you guys, like, what we're planning to do this season. Thanks for stopping by to Sesh'n with us. If you like what we're doing, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell your neighbor, tell your dog. Peace.